Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so thrilled you're here. Look, today we're jumping right into something absolutely crucial. We're unlocking the truth behind our deepest emotional pain by focusing on a step in the healing process that is just so often misunderstood. It's called naming the wound. If you've ever felt completely stuck, carrying resentment, or, tried to let something go and it just creeps right back up on you, well, you're exactly where you need to be. We're breaking down some brilliant material directly from Lesson 3 of the Forgiving the Unforgivable framework. And I can promise you, understanding this is going to completely shift how you process past hurts.
Okay, so let's just dive right in and dismantle a totally toxic cliche. We hear it literally all the time, right? Just forgive and forget. I mean, it sounds so simple, almost noble even. But why doesn't it actually work? Well, to be honest, skipping straight to forgiveness is kind of like slapping a band-aid over a splinter. Sure, the surface looks covered, but the root cause of the pain, it's left festering right under the skin. When we try to just force forgiveness without actually stopping to truly name what happened, we're basically bypassing our own reality. The resentment doesn't just poof, disappear. No, it sits right there in the body, creating all this deep physical and emotional tension, and it fundamentally colors how we see the whole world.
And I really want to validate the frustration you might be feeling if you've been desperately trying to let go of a resentment, but you just can't seem to shake it. It's an exhausting cycle, right? But here's a vital truth we absolutely have to accept. Quote, if we skip this step, the pain stays hidden under the surface, and we never truly let it go. Before we can forgive anyone or anything, we've got to be brutally honest about what actually hurt us. It requires taking a really brave, unflinching look at the reality of the harm. Forgiveness isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending it didn't matter. It's about acknowledging it so completely that it just no longer has the power to control you from the shadows.
Now, think of this whole dynamic kind of like a giant iceberg. Right up on the surface, we have the event. This is the action itself. It's where we naturally react with all that indignation. We think, wow, he did this to me. How dare he? Or, after all I've done for her, she treats me like that. And hey, those reactions, they're completely real and valid. But here's the catch. They only describe the event. They don't describe the wound. The massive, heavy structure hiding underwater, the actual wound, is the deeper meaning beneath the surface. It's the story we internalized because of that event. We so often get stuck right up there at the surface level of anger, and we totally miss the deeper, heavier wound that actually needs our attention if we want to heal.
Let's look at how this actually plays out in real time. Notice how the actions of other people instantly translate into these devastating internal messages about our own worth. Like, a friend not showing up isn't just a scheduling conflict in our minds, is it? No, it translates to the much heavier, deeper meaning, I'm not worth the effort. Or a parent's harsh words. They aren't just a bad mood. They become the wound. I'm not lovable. A betrayal isn't just a broken promise. It morphs into this huge core belief of I can't trust anyone. Sometimes what hurts the absolute most isn't the physical action itself, but that painful, lingering message we took away from it. By naming what happened and this deeper message, we finally start to see what true forgiveness can actually free us from. So, to truly move forward, we have to drill down way beneath the event itself. We kind of have to become emotional detectives in our own lives. Because almost always, the hidden basis of our hurt, that deeper meaning we were just unpacking, it's tied to a very specific fear. This core fear is the actual engine keeping your resentment alive, just humming quietly in the background of everything you do. It's not just about what happened, it's about what the event seemed to say about us, or about life itself, that literally terrifies us to our core. When we connect that surface event directly to the core fear, a pattern really starts to emerge. He ignored me, equals the fear, I don't matter. She betrayed me, equals the fear, I can't trust anyone. They criticized me, equals I'm not good enough. You see, when we reach this deeper, vulnerable layer and actually name the fear, we do something incredibly powerful. We separate the event from the message. We start to realize that their action, that was about them and their limitations. But the fear it triggered, that's what we're holding on to. And by naming it out loud, we start to reclaim our own truth from that paralyzing fear. Now, naming the wound definitely doesn't mean you have to relive it forever or get stuck in this endless loop of suffering. Actually, it's the exact opposite. It's about taking a really clear, brave look and simply stating, this is what hurt me, this is what I'm carrying. Taking that deeply honest step and putting real words to the wound actually strips away its power. It brings it right out of the terrifying, sort of ambiguous shadows of your mind and puts it right there on the table, in the light where you can actually deal with it. So, how do we actually do this practically? Well, I invite you to find a quiet place to reflect, maybe take a few deep breaths to relax your nervous system, and just use these 3 steps as a structured guide. Try to finish these sentences with a scenario from your own life. Step 1, I was hurt when, and then fill in the blank with the event. Step 2, that made me feel, and put in the surface emotion. And step 3, which is absolutely the most important one, the message I took from that was. So, for example, I was hurt when my friend lied to me. That made me feel foolish and unimportant. The message I took from it was that I can't trust people. Doing this a few times with different scenarios acts like a mirror, slowly but surely uncovering those hidden fears. Okay, here is the absolute crucial point. When you write this down, do not try to forgive it yet. Please give yourself full permission to skip the whole letting go part for right now. Just let it exist on the page, written in your own words. Choose one hurt from your list. And maybe not the biggest, most traumatic one right out of the gate, right? Just one you feel steady enough to face today. Describe what happened, how you felt, and the story you told yourself. Because sometimes the simple, profound act of just naming it and letting it breathe is the very first real step toward true, lasting healing. As you look at the messages you've written down, I really want you to sit with this thought and just let it sink in. Quote, you may notice that some of the messages are not true, but they became part of your story anyway. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. You might realize that just because a parent's harsh words made you feel unlovable, it doesn't actually mean you are unlovable. The message was entirely false, but the pain it caused you was incredibly real. Seeing these false stories clearly and recognizing them as adopted beliefs rather than ultimate truths, that is exactly what makes this naming practice so incredibly transformative.
Now, look, I know this can be really challenging. If you're having trouble naming the hurt or drilling down to the actual basis of it, I promise you aren't alone. It's notoriously tricky to get past our own mental defenses, but there are deeper frameworks available for this. If you need a bit more guidance, checking out the Shadow Work Basics class is a fantastic next step. It expands on this exact concept to help you dig deeper and uncover the real architecture of your beliefs that stem from the betrayals or hurts in your life. Because drilling down is hard work. And what we've covered in this explainer today is just lesson 3 of a much broader, deeply rewarding journey. So I warmly invite you to continue your healing. You can master these practices by taking the full Forgiving the Unforgivable class. It's available right now in the Granny Wisdom Hippie Vibes community, which is wonderfully hosted on school.com. Surrounding yourself with a supportive framework and a whole community of people doing the exact same thing just makes doing this vital inner work so much more manageable. I want to leave you today with this final provocative thought. As you begin to name these wounds and courageously look at the fears beneath them, ask yourself, who are you without the burden? What new, beautiful space opens up in your life, your mind, and your heart when resentment no longer weighs you down? I'm telling you, there is a profound freedom waiting for you on the other side of this work. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.